Once upon a time, in the long ago, now seemingly mythical land of 2014, her then-ladyship, Lorelei Skye, had an idea. She felt that the bardic laurels she knew, in an effort to allow others more spotlight time, had been holding back and doing less performing. And she wanted to provide up-and-coming journeymen with shining examples of what the best of bardic performance could be. She also wanted to combat one of the perennial weeds that was, at the time, flourishing in the A&S garden. Some woman, no idea who, came up to Lorelei in her capacity as Pensick Dean of Performing Arts and, out of the blue, said, "Bardic is the red-headed stepchild of the arts and sciences." Humph! Then stormed off. Well, that was quite a statement. This concert is also, in part, an answer to it. The bardic arts, like most things in the society, took off its carpet armor a long time ago. If folks hadn't noticed that fact, perhaps they weren't paying attention. So here it is, the very first Luminaries Concert, put together by now Mistress Lorelei Skye and Viscountess Elishava, a collection of 17 of the best bards and allied performances in the SCA. For we not only have here song, story, and poem, but also music and mime. So for anyone who thinks that the bardic arts only consist of a bunch of guys singing out-of-tune, off-color Beatles filks, they should watch this. And oh yes, hold my mead. Enjoy.
And without any further ado, I shall introduce our first performer, Wyndreth Berginsdottir, singing Warder's Widow's Lament, a fragment from a longer ballad where a lady dresses as a man, becomes a servant, and eventually marries a king. The intro of the poem by Wyndreth herself.
In my heart have I woven wet red weeds, bone-beamed, skull-strung, weighted with faux famines, fixed fates. Gnashing teeth, gnawed eye, splintered shield edge, beat with bright blade my bare bloody breast. Wailed I woe songs while warlords weeping wound dew wavered, went with swan-clad shield maids. Watched I wave steeds when the whale wave, burning bright as Balder. Each Einarjar ascending this woman witnessed. And in my heart have I named you, Northmen, my bold brothers. You smiling swains, ruthless and red as my own blood. My love, he builded me a bonny bower and clad it all with lily flower. A broader bower ye ne'er did see than my true love he built for me. There, I'm going to put that up a notch. There came a man by middle day. He spied his sport and he went away. He brought the king that very night, who broke my bower and slew my knight. He slew my knight. Dead meat said dear, he slew my knight, and he pined his gear. The servants all for life did flee, and they left me in extremity. I taked him up upon my back, and times I gave, and times I sat. I dig the grave, and I laid him in, and I heaped him with the sod said green. his yellow hair. Oh, think ye not that my heart was way when I turned it about away to gay. Oh, no living man I will love again. Oh, since that my heart true love was slain with a lock of his yellow hair, I have chained my heart forevermore.
Our next performer, Master John Inchingham from the Middle Kingdom, doing Odyssey Abridged, a very unique and abridged accounting of Homer's Odyssey.
Hi, I'm Laurel. It is my job to educate the populace. Whether the populace wishes to be educated or not is completely irrelevant. For I am a lord. Now, one of the things that I can do as a Laurel is I take those long, drawn-out poems that everybody's supposed to read, but nobody has time to read it, and I encapsulate them so that everybody has the benefit of an education without doing the work. I hope that you really, really appreciate the silent herald to my left for this song. He put the odd in Odyssey. His wooden horse made history. No hero of antiquity faced more catastrophes when monsters and myths met up. Sailing trip from Troy to Ithaca. 10 years he wandered lost across the sea. Now, according to old Homer, Trojans fought those sneaky Greeks over Helen. They did battle with great ferocity, but valor was defeated by a gift of trickery. And clever King Odysseus won a dreadful destiny. He put the odd in Odyssey, his wooden horse made history. No hero of antiquity faced more catastrophes when monsters and myths met up. Sailed a trip from Troy to Ithaca. 10 years he wandered lost across the sea. Sly Odysseus yearned to his queen return, but the fates were really mean. He encountered stern Ciconians and loved to see to dreams. And giant Polyphemus, Poseidon, Cyclops, Progeny. He braved the winds and cannibals and sorceresses. He put the yarn in Odyssey. His wooden horse made history. No hero of antiquity. There's more catastrophes than monsters and myths met up. Sailed trip from Troy to Ithaca. 10 years he wandered lost across the sea. Bold Odysseus spoke to spooky ghosts in shady gray Hades, dodged deadly roving rocks and sinister siren melodies. He slipped past gruesome Scylla and Charybdis thus were beat. But the cattle of Hyperion brought him utter misery. He put the yarn in Odyssey. His wooden horse made history. No hero of antiquity faced more catastrophes when monsters and myths met up. Sailed a trip from Troy to to Ithaca. 10 years he wandered lost across the sea. Poor Odysseus floated all alone on a raft of ship debris. After Zeus on Mount Olympus thunderbolted his galley. He was rescued by Calypso, they fooled around, finally he home to Greece I tail, wrapped in Eno's veil, swimming like an anchovy. He put me on in Odyssey, his wooden horse made history. No hero of antiquity faced more catastrophes. When monsters and his metal sailed from Troy to Ithaca, 10 years they wandered lost across the sea. Damn, Odysseus woke up on the shore where Nausicaa washed laundry. She sang, he cried, he bummed a ride back to Queen Penelope. Then with some Telemachus, 100 suitors he sushi. And we'll just pretend that's a happy end, cause it's epic poetry. He put me on in Odyssey, his wooden horse made history. No hero of antiquity faced more catastrophes. When monsters and his meadows sailed from Troy to Ithaca, 10 years he wandered lost across the sea. That's a brief synopsis of the Odyssey. Muse well upon this tale of calamity. Bad luck may suck, but it makes a great story.
Introducing now Salons de Cherbourg from Æthelmearc, performing Wind on the Sea by Gwendolen the Graceful, a song of a lady sharing her beloved with his love of the sea.
If you will notice, I am not a Laurel and have no requirement to teach anybody. I wanted to bring a song of Gwendolen's here because she's been a luminary of the Æthelmearc bardic community ever since I joined Æthelmearc. She's been unable to come here because she's moving back after 2 years in the East, and we're very happy to have her back. But she's moving today. There's a ship that's a dock on the harbor, and her name is the Wind on the Sea. The sailors all call her a lady, but a widow she'll make out of me. She's trim and she's yar, and tonight she sails far, bound for distant lands I'll never see. And my soul ever knows, my heart goes where she goes, for my husband her captain shall be. Wind on the sea, carry my love to me. For a bold and brave sailor my love is, and a better man you'll never find. He ran to the sea as a boy, its life and his have since been entwined. From hand to first mate, he secured his own fate, and along the whole he remained kind. He courted me fair in the sweet salty air, and we two were of one mind. Wind on the sea, carry my love to me. Now he tells me his captain is dying, and 'tis my man the old captain chose. The wind on the sea, she's an anchor in her moor, and his sailor's heart knows that this gift he's been sold is far richer than gold, and worth more than the cargo she stows. And so great is his mirth, I can't tell him a birth lies in me, for in me his son grows. Wind will be sailing, while my living alone I must make. I'll sing to his son, and I'll pray to the one who now holds her life in his wake. And my song to the wind shall sound till my life's end, or until her oath she break. Wind on the sea, carry my love to me. Now a 12-month and more have passed by me, and my captain has yet to return. The suitors wait outside my parlor, but their insinuations I spurn. For the wind on the sea holds a promise to me, and a treasure my labor has earned. My Jack's a fine lad who will yet know his dad, and my love shall ever burn. Wind on the sea, carry my love to me. Then last evening I heard a ship's bell ring, and I shook myself out of my sleep. Though the tide was at ebb, I went walking to the pier, and the water so deep. And there came the crew, and her good captain too, for its tears bittersweet now I weep. For he'll promise to stay till we grow old and grey, but that vow he never can keep. Wind on the sea, carry my love to me. For a sailor cannot be contented to live on the dry land for long. Though he's proud of our life and our son, no life is like the one where he belongs. He'll stay for a while till the sea next beguiles, and 'tis then that I'll take up my song. For I know that someday he'll be claimed by the spray, when the wind on the sea blows too strong. Wind on the sea, carry my love to me. Oh, wind on the sea, carry my love to me.
Dervila den...
Nelia.
I can't fix that. Dervila he...
The storyteller.
The storyteller. Otter's Head Ransom. Dervila from Atlantia. Otter's Head Ransom. A story of the ransom of Otter's Head, I suppose. She will tell us.
As we heard a minute ago, catastrophe makes a good story. But sometimes, instead of bad luck, it's just foolishness. Foolish once, Otter wrote a love poem to a woman. Foolish because that is illegal. Foolish twice, he wrote it to Queen Astrid of Norway, King Olaf's wife. Foolish 3 times he went to Norway. And so, of course, King Olaf clapped him in the dungeon, fully intending to kill him when he got around to it. So, Otter languished in the dungeon. Fortunately for him, his uncle Sigvard was the king's chief counselor and skald. And so, he snuck down to Otter in his dungeon. So, what do you think of your lodgings? I've had more cheerful moments. Well, let's hear that poem. And Otter recited the poem, and his uncle said, "Whew, that is bold. You must rewrite that poem and make it less graphically outspoken of love. And then you must write a praise poem for King Olaf, because you see, when he gets you out of this dungeon and brings you before himself, he will want to hear the love poem. You will recite the new one. And then you will go directly into a praise poem. And I will see that you get to finish it. And as for what happens next, that is up to the king." So Otter did what his uncle had told him to do. And then he sat in the dungeon. And then he sat in the dungeon. And then he sat in the dungeon. You notice the theme here. And finally, Olaf called Otter before him and said, "Let's hear that poem." So Otter recited the new poem, and then, as his uncle had suggested, went straight into the praise poem. And the assembled nobles cried out, "No, no, we've heard enough, kill him now." "Wait, wait," said Sigvald. "It is always good to hear praise of our king, and besides, he's not going anywhere. The king can kill him after the praise poem as easy as before." And Otter looked up and said, "Thank you." And he finished his praise poem, and King Olaf just stared at him. "A good poem, that. The second one, I mean. It has saved your head. But be aware, the trick will not work twice." And Otter, bold as all bards are, said, "Thank you, your majesty, although the head I have been paid is no handsome one." And King Olaf, well trained by bards, took off his golden arm ring and handed it to Otter. And then Queen Astrid took off a ring from her finger and tossed it to Otter and said, "Here, poet, for your praise of me." "What?" "So there is something between you." And Queen Astrid said, "No. I simply repay his praise of me as you repay his praise of you." And King Olaf said, with great determination, "Ah." Yes, dear. Now, Otter stayed in Norway, and he actually became a great favorite of King Olaf, but he learned his lesson. Bards, hear me all. He learned his lesson and never broke the law again by writing a love poem for a woman. Thank you very much.
Our next performer is Galeran Chanterel from Antir, far away, performing an Antir anthem named Roar, 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 Roar.
Hello, friends. Coming here from so far away at Antir, I thought I would bring an Antir song. In the far western part of this continent, each summer there is a great war between Antir and the West, and this is a call to war from the Antirian perspective. For this to work, I'll have to get at least most of you to imagine for the moment that you are subjects of the Lion Banner, that you live in a beautiful land that runs from the high desert down to the ocean and is crossed by many beautiful and rugged mountains. Unless you happen to be from the West, in which case you'll just have to get me back later. And my mentor, Master Robyyan, will be accompanying me on drum, which is great. Lion's pride, lion's children, hear my song and heed your king's word. Lay your plows, your books aside once more. Heart of steel, heart of stallion, pay no heed to fields left barren. Join your sire's side and ride to war. For we'll face the foe with honor, join the battle fray with valor, strike wonder in the western foe's hot core. As we charge into the war throng, our clear voices raise the blood song, and from every mountain high resounds our roar. Oh, from every mountain high resounds our roar. Now groom your sons and train your daughters, rouse your sisters, cousins, brothers, and some fortunes knocking at your door. Quit your home, leave your hearthstone, join the Grail and Griffin, and throw out your eyes, gladly ride to war. We'll face the foe with honor, join the battle fray with valor, and strike wonder in the western foe's hot core. As we charge into the war throng, our clear voices raise the blood song, and from every mountain high resounds our roar. And from every mountain high resounds our roar. When summer comes with cuckoos singing, grows the sound of anvils ringing, forging blades to smite the foe once more. Polish helmet, burnish armor, raise your glass and raise your banner, lay your tools aside, ride to war. For we'll face the foe with honor, join the battle fray with valor, and strike wonder in the western foe's hot core. As we charge into the war throng, our clear voices raise the blood song, and from every mountain high resounds our roar. Oh, from every mountain high resounds our roar. Sharp and blade, tight and bowstring, blow the horn, let the harp sing, legends rise, we live old tales once more. Strengthen arm and mind and sin, you show the world what lions can do, he commands it, our dear rides to war. For we'll face the foe with honor, join the battle fray with valor, strike wonder in the western foe's hot core. As we charge into the war throng, our clear voices raise the blood song, and from every mountain high resounds our roar. Oh, from every mountain high resounds our roar. From the halls, from grand pavilions, throngs a host with might of millions, tear your eyes. Let griffin twins now soar. Honor bright with kingly bearing, roar your pride, your song, your daring, none can best a noble heart at war. For we'll face the foe with honor, join the battle fray with valor, strike wonder in the western foe's hot core. As we charge into the war throng, our clear voices raise the blood song, and from every mountain high resounds our roar. Oh, from every mountain high resounds our roar. Oh, from every mountain high.
Up next, Wonder Riordan, singer from Atenveldt, with Star of the North. Inspired by the competition, by the completion of the Khan's quest to find the people of Northshield who best represented the Knightly Virtues.
Some of you will have heard this when I sang it the first time.
There are only a couple of us, yeah.
And some of you have heard the excellent gentleman who unfortunately is not here, who has kept it alive to my very great mind. Star of the North, all virtue salute you, encompassed in honor, illuming the dark. Chivalry here doth blaze as a beacon, shining more brightly than measure may mark. Convent on quest, champion to
virtue embodied, displayed by her people, as his last labor to lay at her feet. First found to shine, Isaac de Hugo, pattern of grace, genteel courtoisie. Then smiling Nicholas, Gaius Luctator, abounding in life and bourgeoisie. Reverence next, Wolfgang van der Loen, richly reveals as noble and knight. Largesse is the gift of Kirk and Tulaka, as generous Margaret, Melissa is height. Joffrey and Anne, not Skogan holding, part of the Northshield humilitas are. And lastly comes Olaf, Bloodorcs tenacious, loyalty's lion unknown from afar. Sixfold the star, blazing in blessing, but not yet complete, cries champion and dare. Truth is the pillar, foundation of honor, and David himself doth veritas bear. And who but the princess, Wyndreth most precious, could franchise maintain, who constant has stood, with David at my warding and holding, the first throne of Northshield and all to the good. Oh, Gwyneth hath woven words for her champion, argent exhorting what works have made known, ever to be a good knight and true, and her tears bless the one who such grace has shown. Keystone and beacon, beginning and pattern, long held upraised, now draw to an end. Dafford and Gwyneth will ne'er be forgotten, as Con and Cassandra to that place ascend. Star of the North, all virtue salute thee, argent and sable, golden and bright. Chivalry's pole star griffin supported, guiding e'er onward throughout the dark night.
Coming up, and while I'm talking, if Robyyan could be moving, we'll maybe reset the microphones for you. Robyyan Torr. I'm clearly not performing work from the Canticus de Santa Maria, a period instrumental work from Spain. I guess vocal and instrumental, but these are instrumental.
The drum. Yeah.
Drum, yeah.
In fact, it matters.
Riordan from Æthelmearc. Our next performer is Ravasz.
Ravasz.
Oh, I'm just absolutely not doing well with names today. From Calontir, and he will be performing a story without words.
Are you ready? I'm really fast. Can you hear me back there? Several years ago, I met a fella. Thought it was that word. I met a fella who was new to the society, and following his progress and seeing the adventures he was having and navigating himself around and through the society rules and our customs. So this fella's name was Newbie, and this is one of Newbie's adventures. This, by the way, is Newbie and the shower.
Next up, Aneleda Falconbridge from the east, by the weight of the chain, a song inspired by the chivalry of the SCA.
Of course she has He's got tips.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello. I'm Aneleda, and I came from the East Kingdom, which is far away. And while I came here, I met some people who are from the Mid-Realm. Eternal enemies, eternal friends. Isn't that how that goes? Annual. So we're gonna have a fight after this song. But this is a piece inspired by the chivalry of the SCA, so who better to have join me than a man-at-arms and a squire. Additionally, this is the second public performance of this piece, so please indulge us the use of words. Thank you. And joining me, because I should tell you, are the Honorable Andrew Blackwood McBain. And Sergeant Kari Galeran Chanterel. By the weight of the chain of gold I wear upon me, by the white of the cloth about my body bound, by the spurs on my heels, I do swear upon my honor to uphold the knightly virtues till I lay beneath the ground. When I was young, I watched the knights go riding, their armor so bright and their glory brighter still. My hands were small, but my dreams lay large about me. Once the goal had found me, I set out to gain my skill. By the weight of the chain of gold I wear upon me, by the white of the cloth about my body bound, by the spurs on my heels, I do swear upon my honor to hold the knightly virtues till I lay beneath the ground. When I had pledged, I served as I was able. I found worthy knights and asked to learn their ways. My form grew strong, sturdy plates I wore upon it. When I finally could don it, and the heavy sword could raise. By the weight of the chain of gold I wear upon me, by the white of the cloth about my body bound, by the spurs on my heels, I do swear upon my honor to hold the knightly virtues till I lay beneath the ground. When I had grown, I followed into battles, warriors of legend with my war kin at my side. My mind grew calm, all their lessons moving through me. My foes could not undo me with these masters as my guide. By the weight of the chain of gold I wear upon me, by the white of the cloth about my body bound, by the spurs on my heels, I do swear upon my honor to hold the knightly virtues till I lay beneath the ground. When I was raised, I stood before my sovereign and my new kinsmen, and unto them pledge my troth. My heart is bold, to my best I shall endeavor to defend this dream forever, which first took me toward my oath. By the weight of the chain of gold I wear upon me, by the white of the cloth about my body bound, by the spurs on my heels, I do swear upon my honor to hold the knightly virtues till I lay beneath the ground. When I was young, I watched the knights go riding, their armor so bright and their glory brighter still. My hands were small, but my dreams they did bind me. Now that the goal did find me, I will ever heed its will.
here singing.
Cormacker's Mall.
Yeah, I'm going to have you say that when we get up here. From Michael Graham. A song about those who have gone before into the West from the words of one who followed that same trackless road. It's
When I first arrived here, I heard the news that our community, the Bardic community, had lost one of its earliest members in our society, Joseph of Locksley. And I would ask you, while you sing the wondrous songs that you have written, tell the tales, to perhaps reach back and bring one from the past, those who have blazed this path for us, those who have laid the foundation for this wondrous thing we share. And so I sing the song Michael the Ram wrote for the passing of his good friend, Baron Cormac. Gather the poets, the warriors, the wise men, circle and listen in silence this night. Here on the wind, as the Valkyrie whisper, they say that the hawk is in flight. Now there is silence where once there was singing. Cold is the fire that called us at night. Bitter the cup that once brimmed with honey. We mourn that the hawk is in flight. A warrior is honored in gold and in glory. It's lost if the plunder is sold. But a poet is praised for the strength of his verses, and nothing can tarnish that gold. Many have hung on his tales of the Northland, praising each word he would write. Now grant him a bench in Bragi's bright mead hall. We say that the hawk is in flight. Age could not bend him, the hawk took to battle, though years whipped his feathers to white. He wears new young feathers in freedom forever. We sing that the hawk is in flight. Warrior is honored in gold and glory. It's lost if the plunder is sold. But a poet is praised for the strength of his verses, and nothing can tarnish that gold. Home to the memory, tasting the sweet mead, and sing away sorrow this night. Here on the wind, as the Valkyrie whisper, forever the hawk is in flight.
Coming up next, Fiana of Clare from Meridies with Light of the East.
Forgive me, I'm a little short. I believe I have time to tell you. Thank you. I believe I have time to tell you the story of this song. For it happened that long ago, a friend of mine named Johann and I were sitting around one evening having the sort of conversation that friends often have. What would you do if you were king? What would you do if you were queen? And I said, Johann, you are so dear to me that if you ever were to win the crown, I would fight beside you. I would put on armor so that I might support you as prince or as king. And he said, if you do that, you will be my shadow on the field. And the bardic jackpot went off. For I knew that I would don armor and fight beside my friend, and I would die like a dog, but I would have a marvelous song out of it. And so it happened that Johann, who had changed his name by that time 3 or 4 times and settled on Darius, won the crown of the East, and his first words to me were, you have to learn spear now. At which point I said, my prince, what I promised I will fulfill. And he said, then I will fulfill my word. You will be my shadow on the field. And I got what I wanted. I got a song about a woman fighting valiantly for her country and her king, but I had a snarky muse. The song is not about me, but about why the principle of the Order of the Valiant Tiger, the order for bravery in the East, is a queen of the East. The battle was bloody, the battle was long. The sun beat upon us and we were not strong. The enemy pressed us with valor and blade, till we fell caught and beaten to rest in the shade. Our queen saw us weary, said, what do you hear? The king is beset and the enemy's near. Use your courage and strength and our victory's nigh. And hearing her words we arose with a cry. Follow the light of the east. Our dawn calls and we must rise. Fight for the light of the east. Our North Star we will follow to war. Once more did we brave our foe's fiercest attack. Once more to the battle, once more beaten back. They killed and they maimed and they wounded with ease. Again we retreated to safety of trees. Our good queen said, rise up, my brave soldiers all. The East needs your swords, else our banners will fall. If we fight and we strive, then we surely must win. And seeing her charge, we arose once again. Follow the light of the east. Our dawn calls, and we must rise. Fight for the light of the east. Our North Star we will follow to war. 5 times did we falter, 5 times did we fall. 5 times did we answer our valiant queen's call. 5 times we arose when the queen us inspired. Although we were wounded, although we were tired, so weary was I could scarce lift my spear, but rallied whenever her voice I did hear. For none of us ever her asking denied. She encouraged our strength and she strengthened our pride. Follow the light of the east. Our dawn calls and we must rise. Fight for the light of the east. Our North Star we will follow to war. The battle was bloody, the battle was long. Our queen led us bravely and we became strong. We came finely wounded from deep in the wood. And with the queen's foot guard the east banner stood. And flying above us in glory was seen our enemies' banners held high by our queen. We cheered till her name echoed loud in the sky. She said, cheer not
for me, for you earned this, not I. Follow the light of the east. Our dawn comes, and we must rise. Fight for the light of the east. Our North Star we will follow to war. Follow the light of the east. Our dawn comes, and we must rise. Fight for the light of the east. Our North Star we will follow to war.
Next up, thank goodness, because he's very tall. Our next performer, the rather tall Fredericker in Gamley Tomliness. I'm not a herald. I need to take heralding classes. Okay, so anytime. Performing the police song.
No, actually I'm doing a different song.
Okay, which one?
I'm doing a modest song.
You're doing the other one. Okay.
I'm doing the other one. Hi there. First of all, Dervila, thank you very much. You set me up beautifully for this. In the land where I come from, Iceland, there is a law that says that if a man writes a song of love about a woman who is not his wife, then he can be outlawed. Which means, essentially, he's got about 2 days to get his stuff together and get off the island, or he is fair game, and anyone who finds him may kill him on the spot without paying weregild. So, there aren't very many of these songs around. However, I wrote one. So, gentlemen, if your lady is near you, beware. If your daughter is near you, especially beware. And remember that I wrote this for my wife. I will sing it first for you in Old Norse, and then if you have been very, very good, I will sing it for you again in English, though I shouldn't have to. Wow. It is called Man Song. Silky logi skea, saga vacker spela, singrat quickly songer, skilly hearten fylla. Gras mit thif grain, grain glad dear har fair queen, Svenja, thin Svenja, skerdrek Freya, Heliga. Eina rausta mina, Northens silky scorthu. Eina aster mina, aski selja els. Gefa mina gafar, Dula Hornström Fula, Orla Jarler Fwitins, Flakar Filja Salskata. Great side the Obreka, Artatugar Tugu, Skirdrep set Ferjala, Skerset Gulen, Skerpa. Eina rausta mina, Jorthun silky scorthu. Eina aster mina, aski selja els. And now in English, because you were very good. Silken Godflame saga wakes you, sultry lady, singing your brisk love song, shall my empty heart fill. Willow, dear slow gray, iron grain blade, light and bright dress, draw me to your dreaming, dazzling Freya, smiling. My voice rises to you, goddess of silk dreams. My love rises to you, hails weeping willow. Give your soft kiss to me, golden fill the horn storms, horn us ringing ale horns, laughter guides my soul's path. Pure enchanting flag slope, you tug at my heartstrings, dazzling soft your love song, sharpens my gold sword edge. My voice rises to you, goddess of silk breeze. My love rises to you, hails weeping willow.
Next, the one and only Eleanor Fairchild. And I'm afraid I did not quite catch the name of the piece that you'll be performing.
Oh, we'll let you know.
Excellent. So it's a surprise for all of us.
You get surprised for me. I'm Eleanor Fairchild, and the piece that Silence and I would like to do today was written by Attenveldt for Janos, as some of you might know. So some of you might know the piece. I have taken some liberties with the lyric, but not much really. And so the reason I'm choosing this song is because my lord and I have moved a fair bit and have gone from kingdom to kingdom. And it's difficult to take a repertoire that's specific to one area and move it to another area. So it's wonderful when someone writes a piece like this that is more, has a more generic. Make sure that. Oh, sometimes the sound of a sword striking shield with a pageantry shown on the port or the field will call forth memory cherished and dear, the place I call home. Your name here. No maidens are fairer, no laurels more wise, no pelicans suffer with as many sighs. Others can whip up an ale or a beer that tastes half as good as in your name here. Oh, your name here. Yes, sirree, they're the best and have been since founded in something AS. So let voices ring out with your kingdom cheer for the folk and traditions of your name here. The chivalry fight till they sweat and they stink, then guzzle down gallons of Groot's favorite drink. Very nice. The squires all practice to learn how to fight with bruises from the local master or knight. Fencers will equally fight till they drop and all dress as pretty as a local flop. Our archers will slay any fighter too proud for using those kingdoms where this is allowed. Yes, sirree, they're the best and have been since founded in something AS. So let voices
in a poem of a Norse skald that tells the story of a hopeless, heroic battle.
Harsh that hearing for Houston the Raven. Fools had enfeebled the fortress at Bear, leaving it lacking and looted, the while hordes were streaming swift on his land, hell-bent to crush it. The cunning old prince did not know despair at dangers on rushing. Hardy with peril, he held it, perused it, reading each rune of it. Reaching the facts, he thumbed through his thanes till he thought of the one whose guts and gray matter were grafted most neatly. Riders, he asked, to race after Bowie. Bowie, he barked, when that bear cat of heroes bowed to his loved prince. Bear must be ours, or else no one must have it. So hightail, burn leather, hold me that fortress, or else fire it and raise it. Do what you can, or else do what you must. Fame has its fosterlings, free of the limits, boxing all others, and Bowie was one of them. Who has not heard of that home gang at Natchez? 50 were warriors, but he fought the best, wielding a long knife, and none such of daggers worthy of Wayland. That weapon had chewed the entrails of dozens. In divers pitched battles, that thane had been leader by land and by sea, winning such treasure that trolls, it is said, closed hills. Out of fear, he'd frisked them of silver. Racing now westward, he rode into Bear, gathered his garrison, gave them his orders. Houston the Raven is raising a host. Time's what he asks, while he tempers an army. Never give up this gate to our land. Hold this door fast, though death comes against us. The flood of the foam flowed up to Bear, beat on the dam braced there to contain it. But Weird has no fosterlings, favors no clients. Bowie, the war-wise, winner of battles, laid out by fever, lost his first combat, melting with death. Yet the might of his spirit kept a tight grip on the trust he'd been given. Buy time, my bucks, he told his companions. Be proud of the price. Our prince is the gainer. Bold thanes were with him, thirsty for honor, well-versed in battle and versed in all weapons, avid for slaughter there. Each against 30, they stood on the walls and struck for their chieftains, Houston and Bowie, the bear cat of heroes. For 12 days they ravaged the ranks of the foemen. Tens, though, can't harry the hundreds forever. That tide had to turn. Tiredly, the thanes blocked 2 wild stormings and bled them to death. But the third had the drive of Thor's mighty hammer, roared at the walls, and rose to spill over, winning the fort. But the foemen must pay. Heroes were waiting. Shaken no whit, though sure they were lost, 10 lives for one was the tariff for entry, and no man got credit. Crushed and split skulls, blasted off limbs, and lathers of blood were the money they sought and minted themselves, worth every ounce of the wherewith they asked. Cornered and hopeless, they strove while they yet stood, stabbing and throttling, meeting the bear's death, dying while fighting. Heroes of prowess, not chary of slain, led and fell with them. Alone by the wall, Travis the red-maned, truest of warriors, pierced through the pate and pouring out blood, kept death-marking time, defied it, until his sword again sank, sudden. Content then, the end. So also died Crockett, who shaved with a star and snapped to make earthquakes. Kimball, the leader of loyal riders. Bonham, whose vow was valor's own hallmark. Crazed by their losses, the conquerors offered no truce to cadavers. Corpses were stabbed, in the hopes that life's spark might somehow be spared, affording them seconds on killing. Then some, taking count, all that Bowie was balking them still. Like weasels through warrens, they wound through the fort, hunting the hero they hated the most. Least of the lucky, at last some found him, fettered to bed by the fever, dying. Burnt up and shrunken, a shred of himself, gladly they rushed him. But glee became panic. Up from the grip of the grave-gripping weapons, Gizzard's bane rose to wreak his last slaughter. Killing, though killed, conquered, he won. In brief is the death lay of Bowie the leader, who laid down his life for his lord and ring-giver, Houston the Raven, pearl among princes, who paid in the sequel. Never was vassal avenged with more slayings.
Our next performer is Morgana Bromorg.
Wow, I cannot pronounce names.
From Æthelmearc, telling the story of Tear's Head.
No, I'm not.
You're not.
No, I'm sorry. I know it's bad manners to switch stories on with the last minute, but we are mortals and events overtake us.
Fair enough.
I don't know. I'm from 872. It looks like magic. I would like to dedicate this story to my very good friend, the late Master Joseph of Luxembourg. There was a Jarl, and his name was Hakon, and he was a good man and owned many steadings. All were faithful to him because he was in truth a good man. And he had, as his closest friend, his own skull, a man named Hauker, which means hawk. And hawk he was indeed, for high flew his words, and strong flew his voice. It came time that the Jarl realized he needed to marry and have heirs. So he looked throughout the lands and found himself a woman of comeliness, whom he adored. And the time for their wedding was set. And the Jarl's hall was made ready for the great celebration and feasting. When, suddenly, one came riding, weary, road-worn, dusty, said, "My Lord Jarl, your kinsman Wolfram has crashed on shore at a fjord half a day's row from here and begs you to send him aid." Well, what Norseman would not aid kinsman? So they took a small boat, crewed only by 10, and the Jarl and his Gaul, because they were friends, went along to rescue this kinsman, although Hakon actually liked him not. But a kinsman is a kinsman, and must be saved. They drew up into the cove where they had been told, and pulled ashore onto the sandy beach, but no wreckage did they see, no men, nothing. The cove came down in a U-shape, trees on all sides in one. And they walked up, calling the kinsman's name, and heard no answer until they were grouped at the very end, caught between the trees and the beach. And then from behind, they heard Wolfram saying, "I am here, my cousin." And they turned, and from the trees on either side, in front of where the boat lay, came mercenaries, gold-bought blades, to slay the Jarl. What harm have I ever done you, my kinsman, that you would so attack me? No harm indeed, Jarl, save that you are rich and I am not. Save that you have lands and I do not. Save that you have cattle and I do not. But you are unwed, and should you die, and your ship be lost forever, I will have the lands, and I will have the gold, and I will have the cattle, and whether or not they may be Jarl, I care not, for I will have the riches. You do not understand the price of Jarl, said the Jarl. But if it must, so be it. And he looked, and there were 50, and he had 12. He sighed, turned to his friend the Skald and said, "It seems we die today, my friend." may be so, my Jarl. But if we are to die, let us die like heroes, singing. And his sword slid from its sheath, and he raised his voice in song, and the very clouds rolled with the thunder of Hawker's voice, as 12 men charged 50. Now the time of gods is not the time of men. In the space between two heartbeats, the sky began to roil with the colors that southern men call the northern lights. But we know are the Valkyries come out to take the slain. But the time of man is not the time of gods. In that space between two heartbeats, the leader of the Valkyries, Ortrud, grim and beautiful, glittering in her armor of the Aurora, said, "Listen, my sisters." And they heard Hawker sing. Few men know this, for they believe that Odin sends the Valkyries to take whom he chooses, and that is true. But if he has given them no orders, the Valkyries choose who dies. Two heartbeats, and they listened. And Ortrud said, "Follow me, my sisters," and set her spear. And now we are back to the time of men. 12 men charging 50. And every man in that group swore that a cold wind blew past him, but the trees did not move. And every one of them swore to his dying day that the foe began to die before they closed ranks. No blow of theirs that did not tell. No blow of the foeman that was not answered. Hakon's men suddenly realized they were winning. And all around them, the 50 were falling like leaves from a dead tree. And the way to the ship lay open. A day may be a good day to die, but it is a better day to live. And they were not fools. They ran to the ship. All but Hawker, who waited a moment and looked. And because skalds live with a foot in both worlds, he saw her, Ortrud, the Valkyrie, on her stallion, glittering with the light of the aurora, rays falling to her stirrups, grim but beautiful. And she said to him, "I liked your singing, Skald. You will ride with me, but this is not that day. Now go." And being no fool, he went. He clambered aboard, and they put out, rowing the sea, and they looked back, and not a living man stood on that beach, save one, Wolfram. And all the men could see him running, but knew not from what, save Hawker, who saw Ortrud ride him down, rip his soul from his body with her spear, and fling it into the winds of the night, where it will vanish forever with one despairing cry. And they rode home, and Hawker sang them all the way, and above them, until daylight and their dock showed, was the roiling glory of the Valkyries. So this I say to you, my friends and kinsmen, when your time comes to meet that grim and glorious rider, you go to her singing, for that way lies glory. And I tell you that this is a wonderful life and well worth the celebrating, even the leaving of it.
singer Thomas Bordeaux from the West with the song My Queen in honor of her grace. And I'll let them finish that.
Good afternoon. It is, I've been in the USC way too long. No, really. There's a time when it becomes very difficult to love someone just because they have a crown on their head. And after a while, you begin to cherish the opportunities you're given to genuinely love someone who deserves it. I wrote this song for Duchess Naomi after her second. These are not the lands that I grew up in. These are not the lands I grew to love. These are not the fields that I walked in as a child. Although the same stars shine above, and I am not a knight on honor's field, and I am no high officer of state. And I have often wondered just what brought me here. But God alone must know my fate. But my queen, you will always be my queen. You will always be my queen. You will always be. Climb the highest mountains in the Snogwa. I've sailed the rolling mistland seas, crossed the burning desert neath the 18th sun, to see the crescent moons of fair Caid. I've served in courts and carnivals and armies, and with my own eyes seen the naked truth of war. Through it all I've loved and lost, and sown and reaped. And if you but ask me, I do more. For my queen, you will always be my queen. You will always be my queen. You will always be. Days of glory all too soon are ended. To the sweetest things there still must come a night. Tomorrow's sun will see another hand upon the throne, bestowed as prize for courage and for might. Time and distance someday must divide us. Far future days that no man's eyes can see. I've heard it said that all men need a goddess
Our keynote speaker of the event for Bards, Adelaide de Beaumont of Ansteora, bringing us a tale all the way from Canterbury. Whoa. The Partner's Tale. Seek the Reaper.
Okay. While we're doing logistics, I'd like to thank Brendan for that praise poem of this place that I come from. Because our barony is called Bjornsborg, which of course means the town of the bear, because San Antonio is contained within the bounds of Bear County. It's spelled B-E-X-A-R, but pronounced Bear. That part of the joke is now explained. And thanks for Dervila for setting up what happens to people who just get a really, really bad case of the bad idea there's. The Partner's Tale is a tale of three guys who pretty much drinking is what they do, and they spend a lot of time in the bar, and they get an idea. And as we all know about ideas that happen in bars, they are not always the wisest. And this song, actually, I achieved a certain bardic milestone with this song, because I was washing my breakfast dishes at Penzance and a busker went by singing it. Like that, you know, up to my side. As would have it, the night of our concert, we were, you know, hauling all of our instruments into the food court. Dinner for everyone, sat down. Who should come in but this busker, who sat down right next to our table, opened his guitar case, and launched into this song. And he was a bit disconcerted when the chorus rolled around and four-part harmony blasted back at him. And as he got more and more nervous, he started spacing on the lyrics more and more, and so we just kept feeding him the lines. And he's like, do I have the weird luck that one of you is actually the author of this song? But evidently a fun time was had by all, because he went promptly home and there is now a video on YouTube of him telling this story. And then singing my song. I guess he wasn't too scarred by the experience. So yeah, that's what happens. But so this is the story of three guys that went in search of death, which is, even when you're sober, not a good idea. Thomas is playing guitar for me since my other half is not here, and I have way too much fun playing at this song to play my guitar. Three roisterers, three drinking men were sharing of a glass, but pausing in their revels when a funeral chanced to pass. Then one of their good hosts inquired, "Innkeeper, can you tell for what poor beggar late expired?" They told the funeral bell. "Aye, that I can," the innkeep said. "He met a sorry end. When he was wont to share your bread, you used to call him friend." "What? Death has made our comrade fair a bitter grave and grim. We'll find that sneaking devil's lair and make an end of him." A band of jolly roisterers, stout fellows 1, 2, 3, have gone to seek the reaper underneath the gallows tree. They came upon a grey-beard lean with age and sorrows bent. "How now, old man, might you have seen which way the reaper went?" "I have been, sirs, as well I might, so near to death I be. He takes his ease this very night beneath the gallows tree." They hastened there upon their quest, and what should they behold? Not death, but in his stead a chest of newly minted gold. "My brothers all," the eldest cried, "good luck attends our toils. Our quest for death we'll lay aside and tally up our spoils." A band of jolly roisterers, stout fellows 1, 2, 3, have gone to seek the reaper underneath the gallows tree. The eldest to the youngest said, "We too will count the stake. Go fetch us back some wine and bread, and merry we shall make. When he had gone, the other two agreed upon a plot that bloody murder they should do for larger portions sought. We'll cut his throat when he returns, and richer we shall be. However much our efforts earn, there's more for two than three. The youngest by his own design thought he might have the lot, and into all the flasks of wine a deadly poison got. A band of jolly roisterers, stout fellows 1, 2, 3, have gone to seek the reaper underneath the gallows tree. They set upon the youngest when he came back with the wine. They sank their knives into his chest and then sat down to die. They drank the poison flagon as they laughed about their deed, and soon all three were dead as one for treachery and greed. The old man in the shadow stood, a smile upon his face. My thanks to you, my fellows good, for sparing me the chase. I'm weary to my bones, I resolved to make